Peace, family. What's going on? We back with the same scenery. Um, anyway, so the title is all about the government shutdown. So we just got word in that the government has just shut down its day-to-day operations, and these things are going to continue to happen, man. I told you guys that everything that I provide is always factual. People can say what they want, and comment what they want, but at the end of the day, I know when I provide information, it's going to be 100% the truth. And as I'm telling you, all of these things are adding up. A lot of things are coming to light. These guys just can't get it together that are supposedly the leaders of this country. They just can't. They don't know what to do. But one thing we shouldn't do is shut down. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys get paid to do their job. Their job is to govern the country, and they're getting paid to shut down. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, with a government shutdown, if you guys really don't know how that affects society, it affects societies in so many different ways. One of those ways are for like the federal employees. They no longer will have a paycheck. Okay, so if you work for like the post office, if you work for like the IRS or any of those type of jobs connected to the federal government, you're not getting paid until those operations start to come about again. Also, for people that are receiving food aid or any type of aid when it comes to the federal government, that will be stopped. And what it also does is it puts a halt on consumers, consumer spending and things like that, because if the government is showing that they can't function in a civil manner, then it really pumps fear into the eyes of society. So people start to spend less. And, with what's going on now with inflation and tariffs and stuff like that, people are not really spending as much as of right now. So imagine once the word gets out fully throughout the country that the government is shut down, people are going to really backtrack on the things that they want to do and the places that they wanted to go. So then that affects the travel network. As what I know of, that will affect the stock market, just all around, man, because it's all kind of interconnected, in the same sense. But, like I said, I just keep, sharing the light with you guys, man. And, people talk about, I'm complaining or crying. But no, man, I'm being 100% honest with you guys, man. Like this country is falling, man. It's like in shambles right now, and people are trying to speak it up in a way that it makes them feel good, or it makes them feel secure, But if it's happening the way it's happening, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's a problem right now. You got a presidential cabinet that just focus on war and dealing with other countries, versus understanding how the citizens of this country are struggling on a financial basis. It's not really too much of their concern, to the point where they leave the decision making into the hands of the federal government, which is now shut down. So now people are going to wonder what's next. Like I said, if you are working anywhere connected to the federal government, you no longer have a paycheck, my friend. So, that goes along with you know, your day to day. Like, now how you gonna pay your fucking rent? You know what I mean? Like, people always got stuff to say, man, but at the end of the day, like, how you gonna pay your rent? How you gonna pay your utilities? Do you know what I mean? Like, they shut down, but that don't mean your bill shut down. Is that does that make any sense? The government shut down, but your mortgage company ain't shut down. They gonna still want that money, or it's that house is going to at some point belong to them, right? So it's just a sad situation, man. It really is. You know, I try to keep it a buck with you guys, man, but you know, a lot of people don't appreciate that shit. You know, like they come onto my comments, man, and just smear all types of bullshit. You know, like I said, to make their own selves feel secure in a unstable environment. You know, and I don't know what's in store next, but like I said, I don't see anything improving because, you know, like I said, the country is so far in a hole financially. It just kind of keeps, you know, it's a snowball effect. It just keeps going and going. And with a government shutdown, another issue with that is that as all of those things transpires between withholding paychecks and causing, you know, chaos within the networks of traveling and the financial markets, is that it will cost billions of dollars while this shit is happening. So, as we all should know, but most of us don't know, that we're a $37 trillion in debt country. So you can go ahead and just tack another $1 billion onto that, to, you know, add to the, you know, to the fire, right? And then you got Trump talking about how the tariffs are supposed to bring in funds in order to, you know, help fix the country financially, when instead it's actually, you know, driving the prices up and making things more expensive for the people here, for the consumers and for the businesses. They say, hold on temporarily, take this ass whooping, take this L, but at some point we're gonna be taken care of. That shit don't make no sense. You guys know the shit that they talk about is always fucking lies. You know, so when you guys get those ballots sent to you in the mail, what you need to do is you need to take the ballot, open it up, and then rip that shit in half. That's what you need to do, because these motherfuckers do not tell you the truth, and they're consistently hold on. And they're consistently playing with your intelligence. Consistently, right? So like I said, hold on. So like I said, when the government shuts down, it shuts down the pay structure and the paychecks for the people that are working hard for the country, right? So you guys got to tell me how that doesn't make sense, man. Not only do you got to pay now for more expensive things through tariffs, inflation, and now a government shutdown, but how about you go to work and know that you're not going to get compensated for you showing up? Now, if you say you don't want to show up because you're not getting paid, then what happens? You're going to get fired. You see what I'm saying? So this shit does not work out for the normal civilian. You know what I mean? Like, everybody thinks this shit is by the book. This shit is like, it's not by the book, man. You know, it's whatever it takes. Is every man for himself, you know, when it comes to the government. You know, let's see who we can step on. Let's see who we can take advantage of. And the ones that's being taken advantage of is the one listening to this video right now, including myself. I'm not excluding myself. I'm still a part of this corporation. That's what we call it. It's a corporation. I'm not calling it a country anymore, man. It's business. This is a corporation. You guys think it's a fucking country? This is a third world country, if you want to put it that way, because it's not the same place that you thought it was, or your grandparents seen, or your great grandparents seen, or your grandparents now. It's not the same place. All right. So you guys go ahead and just take that in, man, and try to figure this out. Hopefully, if you're a federal worker right now, you're watching this, man, I wish you the best. And, hopefully, you can bounce back from this and, things like that. But I'm going to stay 100% honest with you guys. I appreciate you guys that do rock with me and are as positive as possible. It's a small channel, but we plan on doing big things. So remember, the truth's in session. Peace.